The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hello, and welcome to this evening's webinar. I'm Brian Nicholson, Knowledge Exchange Manager at AHDB in the Southwest. I'm joined this evening by Jim Kirk, our new strategic dairy farmer from Heanton Barton Farm in North Devon. Good evening, Jim.
Good evening, Brian.
I'm also joined by my colleague Kate Harris, who covers Devon and Cornwall, and Nick Parsons, Head of Dairy Development. Good evening to you both.
Evening.
We're going to go over now to start with some housekeeping. First thing I want to say is all attendees are muted, so I want you to know that you're all muted right through the webinar. Please type questions into the message box. Just click on the arrow in the orange box and we'll answer your questions throughout. If you look at the orange box and you click on it, below that it says questions. Below that it says ask a question to staff, and underneath there's a send button. That's all you have to do for that. This evening's webinar has been recorded and will be available on YouTube, so you can watch it again later or get anybody else to watch it. For those who have Dairy Pro points and are registered for Dairy Pro points, please put your details in the message box, name and email address, and we'll make sure those points are added for you. And those who want to register for Dairy Pro, also just put a note there, name and email address, and just mention you want to sign up, and we'll do that for you. We aim and should be finished by 8 p.m. We'd like as many questions as possible, so please send them in to us. Right. Just battling to get the next slide here. Right. What we're going to cover this evening is we're going to start off in a few seconds with a short drone video of the farm. Then Jim will give some background on various aspects of the farm. I'll hand over to Nick, who will give an overview of the strategic farm program. Then Jim and I will go through the key performance indicators for Jim's farm. And then we'll end with long-term plans and what Jim and his team want to focus on over the next few years. So there's a great shot of the farm. If you have a look at that, you're going to see it in the drone footage. You'll see that's a good image of the countryside for those who've not been to this part of the world before. That's a typical North Devon scene. Tremendous. Okay, there'll be no talking over the video drone footage, so just sit back and relax and take it all in.
Brian, you're on mute.
I hope you enjoyed that footage there. I'm now going to go over to Jim. Jim, can you please tell us a little bit about your farming career to date and a little bit about the history and background to the farm?
Thank you, Brian. Well, I mean, we started farming, or my dad's been farming all over the place, but where I originate from was a neighbouring village, Peters Marland, where I was born. That's where my father moved to Devon and started. That was their first bought farm, big family farm, brothers. And then one thing after another happened. All the brothers sort of went their own ways. Dad was on his own, and then I come along. We moved from there when I was at the age of 13, which Dad was milking cows then. We actually walked the cows from that farm to this farm, Heanton Barton in Petrickstow, the neighbouring village. And that is where we then, we've become what we've become. I was still at school, left school a little bit early, should I say, because I was very, very keen to come back on the farm. And yeah, Dad's been at the helm of it for many, many years, and I'm just sort of taken over the last sort of 12, 18 months. And yeah, I'm enjoying it and going well.
What part of the, thanks Jim, what part of the operation do you enjoy doing the most? Because I know you're involved in pretty much everything.
I know, it's an all-round picture really, right? I enjoy the whole, just managing it and just being at the helm myself. There's no real in particular part that I enjoy more than ever. I mean, summertime obviously a bit more tractor work, and I do enjoy the foraging, but it's everything really, Brian. There's no real part that I think, oh God, I hate this.
Right, well that's good to hear that. And is there any aspect you focus most of your time on, or is it a spread right across?
It's mainly spread right across. I mean, at the moment, my big thing are the cows and well, for me personally, the calves. But it's all about cow health, just getting them cows being more productive off of homegrown forage, making them be as efficient as they can be, getting the conception rates right, getting the calves off to a good early start. It's all links in a chain, which you get a weak link and then your chain's not working.
And just before we move on, decision making, Jim, is that something, are you an autocrat, you make it yourself, or do you do a bit of consulting with other family members?
We do a lot of consulting. I do take a bit of it on myself, which perhaps sometimes I should perhaps consult a little bit more than what I do. But generally speaking, we always get together 10:30 every day, the whole lot of us, for a cup of coffee and a bit of a chat about what's going on. So everybody knows what's going on throughout the day. Everybody knows their jobs. And that's where a lot of the decision making is made.
No, great. The next slide is a great shot of your folks. Do you want to introduce them, please, Jim?
Yeah, that's my mum, Jane, on the left. She's also a very important part. She helps me with the calves of an afternoon. She is gopher for going and collecting bits if we need to go and collect bits, and also the most important part, the tea maker. and then my dad in the centre. He is he's the main nuts and bolts behind the whole lot, really. I mean, I'm very lucky to be able to take on from where he's not left off yet, but I mean, he's given me a great start to progress on from. He's given me all my knowledge that I've got today is coming through his years and years of experience. So yeah.
Excellent. And now the team, that's the team that keeps the farm going. Would you like to introduce your team from right to left, Jim, and also just say what their main role is, what they're mainly involved in their daily lives?
Yeah. So I've got, starting on the right, I've got Heanton Palmer. He's a young lad, 20 years old. And he is my herdsman. He's one of the main key people on the farm. Then next to him, we have Josh McCulloch. He is tractor driver. He is general yard worker. He fills in gaps where they need to be filled. Then there's my dad, who's pretty much everywhere all the time, probably the hardest working out of everybody. He doesn't have a day off because he lives and breathes it. Me, who, I do my bit of running it. I do the calves. I'm pretty much all rounder. I help the boys. I set them going on their jobs, and give them advice where they need it. Archie is next. He would be my main tractor driver out in the field. Yeah, it's a young team, as you can see. So they do have questions and they need help sometimes. And then Sasha Palmer on the far left. He is a college student, he goes to college, but he is actually an apprentice. He helps out with milking, drives the tractor, yard person. Yeah. Plays an important role as everybody. But also, Brian, missing out of that picture is my brother-in-law, Michael. He was away hedge trimming that day. I didn't realise this picture was going to get used, but he was away hedge trimming. He does all the mixer wagoning, all the feeding up. He's got a great part to play, or a very important part to play in the feeding of these cows, making sure it's all up and done right.
Well, it looks like a very a team that works well together. Everybody's smiling there, Jim. Do you have regular meetings as a team? How do you operate in that school, to discuss operational matters and progress, etc.?
Yeah, well, generally every day, as I said earlier on, every day we have our drink together. We'll pick up on bits. If anybody needs to ask a question, they can ask it then. I've got a whiteboard in there, which as the jobs come up, I write them on and we tick them off as we go through the days, so we don't forget nothing. And that's where a lot of our discussions are made, is in our tea room. Yeah.
What time of the day do you do that?
That's half past 10. Half past 10. That's generally after we've done up all the necessity of the yard work. So obviously the main focus on the farm are the cows. So it takes us till then really to get everything squared up, all the sheds cleaned out, bedded up, fed up, watered if they need water. Yeah, and then we stop, have a drink, have a chat about what we're doing through the day, and then everybody goes their ways as to what they're doing.
No, excellent. Kate, any questions for Jim so far that's come in?
Yeah, we've had a couple come in. I'm sure you're going to cover this in a bit anyway, but Jim, how big is the farm, and is it all owned or is some of it rented?
We got 520. That's a great picture. We got 520 milking cows. That's actually milking. We've got about 575 all told with the dry cows, and yeah, and then we got an awful lot of followers as well. I think in total we've got near 900,000 head of cattle on the farm altogether. We own 520 acres, but we're farming in the region of 750 altogether with rented and what have you. I grow a lot of maize on away ground and try to keep the grass at home as best I can.
And I've got one other question that's come in for you, Jim. You've got what looks like a pretty good young team there. Do you find it easy to find staff locally?
Well, that is one of my main things that I love about the team I've got. They all live within a 5 mile radius. I mean, most of them live within 3 miles, but staff is always an issue for every farm. I feel I'm lucky that I've got these ones that I've got. So I don't really want to go away from English if I can help with it. Not saying that anybody else is worse, but.
And I've got another
Yeah.
quick question just come in. Who does the
Okay.
milking, and do you have relief milkers?
The milking is done mainly by Harrison Palmer. He is there for 12 out of 14 milkings. We all, I cover on a weekend. And we have got 1 or 2 staff that come in and help us out. But mainly, if there's nobody there to cover as in relief, I will manage it with the staff I've got. But I do try to give everybody a bit of time off, because weekends are always a sticky issue. So everybody has just 1 day off at the weekend. So everybody tries to have a day off in the week. So therefore, we can cover it if we need to.
No, thanks. Thanks, Kate. Thanks for those questions. Keep them coming in. A few things I would like to ask you, Jim. Do you milk record?
Yeah. Well, only the basic necessity one. Yeah.
And what sort of yield are you achieving at the moment, so?
We're what per annum?
Yeah.
Or, yeah.
No,
We're
herd
on about,
average.
pardon?
Herd average.
The herd average, we'd be sending somewhere between 10,750 and 11,000 per annum. They're averaging about 32, 33 litres a cow at the moment.
Yeah, that's a pretty useful yield.
Yeah, they're all right. They could milk more, but yeah, let's just get them settled down on the diet, and little tweaks, little changes we make in the right direction, hopefully.
On the breeding side, you use sex semen?
Yeah, we started with genus RMS about 18 months ago. Could be a little bit more. And they come in and got us going on, or put us on the right path of trying to breed from the better cows. So we're using sex now with great success. And in all fairness, we parted, well, I sort of parted, when I say we parted company with them, they still overlook us, they still make sure we stay on track with everything, but me and Harrison now take it upon ourselves to do all the AI and ourselves. We do it around milking time, so it fits in better with our day rather than disturbing the cage through the middle of the day. And yeah, I mean, we have quarterly catch-ups with Genus to make sure that we're not letting standards slip, and things are going really well.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, I mean, I notice the herd preg rate is good, and we're going to touch on that later. So it's obviously an area that you focus on. Is that right?
Yes, without a doubt. Without a doubt, that is something that we have focused on greatly.
Yeah, on the feeding side, Jim, you mentioned Michael sort of feeds the cows and so on. What is your ration? What's in it? Tell us a bit about that, please.
That is put together for us by Andy Hawkins of Three Counties. He is made up of mainly grass silage and maize with a little bit of soda wheat, some blend as well. We're trying to get as much yield from forage, so we are just, it's a balance in that, trying to get the cows to work as efficiently as they can without losing too much. We got all the normal necessity minerals and bits and pieces going in, but yeah, the main thing of it would be grass silage and maize.
Right. Yeah, you're pretty keen on maize. I think you upped your acreage. Is that right, Jim? Just tell us
Yeah.
your decision on maize. What did you used to plant when you first started off in terms of acreage, and what do you plant now?
We were planting, we planted for years, about 70 acres, and we used to get it into a crop rotation with a bit of wheat for a bit of whole crop, and then that would give us the best opportunity for getting the grass seeds back in. But it was evidently so that the maize was really pushing the milk, whereas the whole crop wasn't quite so efficient and did cost an awful lot to grow. So we ended up taking the decision to drop the whole crop and put in more maize. And we're now this season just gone. I blew about 250 acres of maize with the intent of upping that acreage a little bit more next year if I can. It's a very, very valuable part of the milking diet for these cows. They absolutely love it.
Yeah, excellent. Let's have a look at say a few words on herd health, Jim. What do you vaccinate for? How do you approach that?
We are in vaccination programs for most things, Brian. We got the latest one we vaccinated for was IBR. Next month we're doing BVD. I think we're done Lepto in August. We do vaccinate for Salmonella at dry off. So we are covering all the bases. We can't afford to let it slip really, because it's a slippery edge. It's a sharp sword. If you slip off the edge, it can hurt quite a bit. Plus, we're doing all our own fertility, and it all plays a key role in getting them cows back in calf when you want them back in calf, and also holding. So it all plays a great significant role.
Yeah. So do you have a herd health plan?
Yeah. Well, I say yeah. I mean, Harrison, my herdsman, he's got it all written down there on a board of when they should be done, so that we don't miss it. He's great in that department. He does all my bookkeeping for the cows, really.
Oh, good. Let's go on to a bit of the infrastructure. I think people are quite keen to see in the video footage we saw some new infrastructure there. That was quite clear. So let's start with the parlour. You've sort of made some changes over the years, Jim. Just tell us a bit about that.
Yeah. My dad, when we first moved up the farm, there was an old surge milking parlour, herringbone, and Dad worked for years in that. And until the time came when he was sort of wanting to take a bit of a backward step, so we put in a bigger herringbone, which was working brilliantly at first, when the cow numbers were at, say, 150 to 180, whizzing for him. But as the cow numbers went up, the milkings became longer and longer, and we got our own in-house foraging system here, where we pretty much cover all the bases ourselves, other than the slurry. So it wasn't being very great for us for time for doing all these other things. So then we took the step to go to robots. They were good at first. They did become a little bit more troublesome as it went on. But then again, we were restricted with numbers, because as we were growing and wanted the herd to grow, we couldn't put no more cows on the robots we had, and that meant more sheds for more robots, and we sort of half fallen in love with them, and then we took the plunge and thought, right, let's sort this job out, and we put in a rotary milking parlour, and we've never looked back from that now. There's no end to how many cows we can milk. We milk at 500, and I'm not sure what we're milking right now. I think it's about 507, 508 cows, and that takes us like 2 hours.
How
a
many?
little more.
How many people?
Two.
Two.
One wiping and one putting on plug-in, as we call it.
Yeah, that's great. Excellent. Let's go on to your cubicle shed. See a passage down the center, feed passage down the center. How did you come up with that? That's reasonably new, Jim, is it?
Yeah, that's 3 years old, Brian. That there. I went to the builder that we use, and I said I was going to put up a cow shed, and he took me to a neighbouring farm. Well, I say a neighbouring farm. He lives about 5-6 miles away from us, I suppose, as the crow flies. And I walked in there, and I was just stunned by it. It looked amazing, and I come out of there, and I just said to everybody, because he took me, Dad, and Mike, and I said, "That's the shed. That's the shed for us. We've got to have a shed just like that." And other than we've got easy fix feed fence and easy fix cubicles, but other than that, the shed is identical to the one we saw. It's the first shed for the cows that we've ever built, wholly and solely, purposely for the milking cows. Every other shed that we've ever done has always been a conversion from a shed that's already there, a silage pit that we've put cubicles in and tried to make it match. And there's always a bit of a compromise, whereas here in this shed there is no compromise. It's completely for cow comfort and cow health.
Yeah, good. So you wouldn't make any changes, there are no regrets with your design and thoughts there. Brilliant.
Yeah, it's brilliant. It's a lovely shed.
Calf shed, tell us a bit about that. I think that was another change you made. Give us a bit of a rundown.
Yeah, well, the farm when we moved there back many years ago now, when I was 13, is a very old estate farm, and there are stone sheds everywhere that we were filling with calves, and we were suffering so much with like some pneumonia and diseases in the calves until when we sort of said to ourselves, right, we've got to sort this out a little bit. So again, went to the builder, and he took me to see this calf shed about 15-20 mile away. And it was just a lovely, airy, open-sided shed. The calves that were thriving in there, and I thought, right, again, that's what we need. So in the space that we had available, we built a purpose-built calf shed. So we've got pens, 5 pens down one side, 7 pens down the other, and we've got individual calf crates where the calves first go when they're born into the individual crates. As soon as they're up and away, sucking well, then they get put into pens of groups of 5, because they're very social animals, calves are. And then they are, that's where they stay until they're weaned, and then they go off into our top shed, still staying in their 5s. So there's no stress on the calves whatsoever.
No, great. So calf health, any comment there? Growth rates?
The calves in that shed, Brian. We've put a lot of focus on the calves the last couple of years, and learning what we've learned about making sure that colostrum milk is in them, the right amount of milk is in them, and using the right powder, which again it was a great help from Andy Walkins from 3 Counties. The calves, they thrive. That's part of the reason why I say we're being able to get our heifers back in calf and calf down in 24 months is because of the great growth rates as youngsters. It gives them the best start in life.
Yeah, no, good. I mean, I must say I've been in it a couple of times. Very comfortable, well ventilated. Everything looks
we got curtain sides as well. So on hot days we put the curtains up to let the air right in. Or if it's a cold, windy, blowy, wet day, we put the curtains down, and they're safe and sound in there.
Can I jump in a minute, Jim, and ask a question that's come in?
Yeah, go on.
When you vaccinate for salmonella at drying off, does that cover the calf for salmonella as well?
Yes, it does. It helps. It helps with the calf. I do believe it though. That is right. It gives the calf a little bit of immunity when it's first born.
Brilliant, thank you.
Jim, I think farmers will be interested to hear a little bit about this water reservoir that you built. Tell us how it came about and the difference it's made for you.
Yeah, right. Went in for breakfast one day. I was watching the news, and on the news they were saying how golf courses and farms were going to have to start having their own water reserve for the drier summers with the climate change. And in this particular part of the field here, it was a wet, boggy corner. It was all over the shape. It was all sorts of shapes, and it wasn't a very nice corner of the field whatsoever. So we come out. I come out, and I said to, I saw my brother-in-law and my dad. We all sort of meet outside the house because we all come out for breakfast at the similar time. And I said, right, I said, we got to build ourselves a reservoir for these cows and try and make a bit more use of the water that we can get for free rather than mains, really. So we all sort of stepped down and had a look at the corner of the field, and yeah, right, okay, that's an ideal place to put it. That's what we'll do. Got our local digger driver in and dug it out. So it has got a couple of springs in the bottom, but we've put as much roof water as we can. It goes into it, and that's all the drinking water for the whole farm within reason. There's a couple of sheds that get a little bit of borehole, but that there has been the biggest cost saving ever, as in water supply. It's brilliant. In that red hut there on the left-hand side, bottom corner of the reservoir there, in that hut there's a pressure cylinder, 2 pumps, and with a ultraviolet system and a filtration. So when the water comes up, it's filtered out, and it's all good. And at the end of the little runway there into the reservoir, there's 3 submersible borehole pumps pumping water. So we are drinking a lot of water. 520 milking cows, and then you've got nearly 1,000 head of stock. They do drink a lot of water in a year, Brian, and that there supplies enough water for them to drink.
Yeah, I think that's a real success story, Jim, and I think farmers might give it some thought. Great cost saving, as you say.
Yeah, no, but yeah.
Let's move on to the silage plan. Your reason for building it, upgrading it, what you had previously.
Yeah. Well, the previous pit that we had there was earth banks with sleeper walls, and it was all right. We had a few issues with effluent seeping out of it. It wasn't the best pit in the world. However, it did the job for when it was put in there, but things and times have moved on. So we with the help of the EA, Andrew Fuller, my area Environment Agency representative, we've put up a pit now that is completely up to SAFA regulations, and yeah, it's making a lovely job. Hopefully, Brian, in the near future there'll be a roof on top of that, but we ran out of time. Yeah, and then all that water from that roof will also be hopefully, well, it won't hopefully, it will be took around and put into our reservoir as drinking water also.
Right, excellent. Yeah, how did silaging go this year, as a matter of interest, Jim?
Yeah, it went all right. It went very well. As you can see, this was all completely empty when we started this pit, and for all the beginning of the year, things were looking as though it could be a drought, and what on earth we're going to do for silage, and how we're going to feed these cows. Well, second half of the summer was certainly a growy half. really growing. In all fairness, we thrown grass away that was offered to us because we just didn't need any more. And the maize yielded exceptionally well. So we have not got an issue with forage one bit this year.
Oh, that's brilliant. I should have asked you, Eddie, who do you sell your milk to?
We sell it to Credit and Dairies in Credit. Yeah, Credit and Dairies. They make moo milk, like milkshakes, and well, they got their fingers in lots of pies, but that's their main one.
Right. Okay. Thank you. Kate, have we got any more questions at this stage that are coming?
Yeah, we've got several questions coming out. Just ask a quick one. What beef balls are you using, Jim?
That's a challenging. Well, it's not a challenging one. We use Belgian blue or British blue, and for the really hard persistent cows that will not go in cab, we are on Welsh black.
Brilliant, thank you.
Yeah. Okay, thanks for that. That's a good overview, Jim. I think people have got a pretty good idea of the farm. I'm going to hand over to Nick to say a bit about the strategic farms.
Thank you, Brian. Thank you, Jim, and welcome, Jim, to the Strategic Dairy Farm Network. Brian, if you want to flick a slide forward, that's great. Thank you very much. So 18, yeah, that's lovely. 18 was yesterday. We now have 19 with Jim being launched. Jim being the White Star down in the far southwest of the foot of England there, down in Devon. So that's 19 we now have launched, aiming for 25, 26. The areas, the White Star up in Scotland is also launched now, as well as the one in Northwest Wales. So we are moving through creating that network of farms where farmers can ordinarily, pre-COVID, be able to get out and get onto a farm that they can relate to. And if you look at the bottom of each of the identified farms, they have a strap line which is sorry, Brian, just flick back. Thank you. So the strap line actually picks up on whether they're an autumn calving farm, an autumn block, spring block, or all year round. Thanks, Brian. And so that would help identify a farm that's relevant to you. So with the current COVID times, we've had to move very much online, as we are tonight. And this is the first evening webinar that we've done as part of the Strategic Dairy Farm Network. So we'll see how this goes. We've had a very good audience so far. For those people listening on the recording, which is there on YouTube, I would encourage you to subscribe. The red button underneath the video gives you the ability to subscribe to the AHDB channel. If you give us a thumbs up, that would be appreciated if you're liking what you're hearing, and we want to engage with that YouTube audience, which is a significant number of people watching the recording, which is great. And AHDB are very proud, certainly through the dairy group, being able to communicate with so many more farmers than we have been just ordinarily on farmer to farmer meetings. So that's great that we've expanded that reach. Another way of communicating with us is if you go to the web pages, and all of the strategic dairy farms have got a web page each, and you'll be able to find more about the farm. You'll be able to also understand what the farm is focusing on, their aims, and also be able to measure against the KPIs that farm would have. So I'm going to leave Brian to go through the KPI Express tool, and then go into Jim's KPIs. Okay, thank you. Nick, can you just go, because I've got I can't see my full screen here. Okay. Okay. Right. You just go off there. Thank you.
Okay, I'll just say a few words about the KPI Express tool. It was launched in September. It enables you to measure your key performance indicators against industry targets. And it'll assist you to choose and focus on specific areas of your business to help you plan and manage accordingly. There are 9 KPIs in total, 6 technical and 3 financial. It's broken down into block carving and all year round. Most of them are similar. There's 2 or 3 that are not, hence why we've split them. You just extract and input the figures from your own records and accounts. I just want to stress it only takes literally 2 minutes to register, and you can start using it immediately. You have your unique password, so your information is secure, and off you go. Just go onto the AHDB Dairy website and you'll see the Express tool, or contact your local KEM and we'll help you through it. So please use it. Jim, just on that, how did you find it? There's old Jimmy, looks pretty happy having a look at it there. How did you find it yourself, Jim?
It was chat live, right? It was something new to me. I mean, I've never done a lot with the figures on the farm, which is something I'm really looking to move into over the coming months, is working out costs of production and all sorts of things like that. But working on the KPIs, it wasn't too bad once we got going, and plus, you know, like you say, you're always there to give a help if needed.
Right, great. Well, there you are. So I know Jim was a bit hesitant in the beginning to give it a go, but I left it with him. 2 days later, he put in his figures. So I just want to encourage everybody to give it a go. We're going to look at 3 of Jim's KPIs, just very, very briefly. I think we'll start with the herd pregnancy rate. It's an important KPI. In your case, Jim, 24% is a very good figure. Would you like to just comment on that figure, how you achieve that with your focus on it?
As I said earlier on, Brian, really, we're since going onto the robots, since going onto the rotary milking parlour and having Harrison on board, we have put so much focus into getting these cows back in calf, and that's the key thing, is making sure that if they've not come bulling by sort of 50 days, why have they not come bulling? We'll present them to the vet. We have regular vet visits, and yeah, it's just being on top of it, Brian. Really, we aim to serve by 50 days. We were earlier than that, but it wasn't working quite so well for us. We were losing a bit of milk at the other end, so we extended it to 50 days. And generally speaking, our cows are in calf by sort of 100 to 130 days. Some of them are in calf by 80 days, but yeah.
Yeah, no, good. So it's based on a 50-day voluntary waiting period.
That's right. That's right.
And so you're absolutely bob on there. So no, that's a good figure, Jim. We'll go on quickly, just briefly, to the next one. Age at first calving, 24 months. It's a big driver of profitability, as you know. Your comments there, Jim?
I put a lot of that down to the great start that the calves have. If they get off to a good start, generally speaking, they'll thrive all their way through. And it shows with that figure there. We weren't at 24 months all that long ago, but since the calves performing as well as they have been and being on top of the bulling, because sometimes it can so easily slip through the summer months when everything's out and we'll do it when we get them in. Well, sometimes you've got to get them in and put that attention to them, attention to detail. So that would be the main reasons for that then, Brian.
Great, excellent. That calf shed as well would have helped to get growth rates right from day one, I should think.
Yeah.
Business overheads. I just stress it excludes rent and finance. Jim, a good figure, 9.9 pence per litre. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I would think that power machinery would be a big, one of your costs. Wages is another one. So what can you comment there, please?
Yeah, we like I said before, we do try and do everything in-house. So I've got the only things that's done out from us, it would be spraying and umbilical manure spreading. Everything else is done in-house. So there is a high machinery bill on that. But we've got the tractors here for doing the cows. We've got the staff here for doing the cows. So it just seems to make sense that we utilise the people and the machinery that we've got to make ourselves a bit more profitable and drive them figures down.
Yeah, so it's a focus area. No,
yes.
Very good. I mean, there would be another 6, but we're certainly not going to go through those. But it just gives, I hope everybody sees the power of these KPIs, and this Express tool helps you to calculate these figures. Kate, any questions come in since the last lot?
We've had loads and loads of questions coming in. If we could just go back to talking about calves. So what age do you sell your calves, Jim? And do you have much trade for Welsh black calves?
Well, the calves, we have been selling them, the Belgian Blues that we have sold. I mean, historically, we've always kept our calves and we'd rear them up and sell them as store cattle. But since increasing the herd, we physically haven't got the room to do that. So this year we sold, I bet we sold 80 or 90 calves, and they would be just before you need to TB test them, which would be, I think it's 40 days, 42 days. They'd be just before that. That would be the aim that the age that we would be selling them. But I have started keeping them again, just because I feel as though I've got a little bit of room. So I am keeping them at the moment. And as far as the Welsh black calves goes, I don't know yet, because we've only been using it the last sort of 4 months, perhaps 4 or 5 months. So until they start popping out, I'm not sure. I mean, they might not be worth all the money in the world, but at the end of the day, the calf is the byproduct. The main thing is getting that cow turned around and producing milk again.
Brilliant, thanks, Jim. And we've had a couple of questions in about yonis. What's your yoni status, and what's your yoni's protocols on the farm?
I've just done the yoni's plan with our veterinary chap. We test every quarter for yonis in cows. Anything that comes back with a high reading gets a red tag. Once it's got a red tag, it's kept in with the cows, but when it goes to the dry cow shed, it's completely kept separate now. They cannot mix or touch the other cows. They are completely treated as individuals. They'll only get put to beef, so there's no getting there's no, we don't want them spreading it to their offspring, and their milk does not get fed to the calves. So yeah, that's how we manage it. As soon as there's any sign of a cow with a high reading or a red tag in its ear, looking as though it's starting to lose a bit of condition or just not looking that great, and you can tell them. They're gone.
Brilliant, thanks for that, Jim. And what's your current TB status?
Oh God, why do you ask a question like that? Oh, touch wood now. We're clear at the moment. We're clear. Okay. We've been clear for the last two, maybe 3 years.
Brilliant. Well, long may it continue. And just another quick question around animal health. How do you manage lameness within the herd?
Well, there we go. That is one of Harrison and my father's jobs every day of the week, apart from a Thursday, which is a drying up day. They are picking up feet of cows. They trim them when they dry them off. They trim them at 100 days, and they trim them if they go lame. And that is something that is being picked up on and is quite religiously done, and is proving to be quite a very useful tool. Harrison's right on top of that.
Thanks, Jim. I'll let you carry on, Brian.
Okay, thank you. Thanks for those questions. Okay, we're just turned to we're nearing the end now. Let's turn to future plans and areas of focus. Jim, in discussions, you've given it a bit of thought and you've chosen 4. I left you to think about it, and this is what you've chosen. Let's start with people management. Why people management, Jim?
All my life, Brian. All my life since I left school, it's always been family at home here, and things go wrong, and you get a good telling off, for the want of a better word, and then you learn by it and you crack on. And now with the farm expanding and becoming more business-like, managing people that aren't family, outsiders, I feel as though sometimes I just haven't got the experience or the knowledge, because I've never really seen it happen firsthand, of how to manage people and how to go about things, and that's why I chose it. Just to know.
Yeah, no, good. Yeah, no, it's and likewise, business and financial management.
Well, again, that's because Mum and Dad were always in charge, and still are to a certain degree, of the finances, and nothing was ever really looked at as in what was making money, what wasn't so profitable, what was the best, trying to improve on different things. As I touched on earlier on, I'm going to be starting to do the bookkeeping for the farm. So I'm dead keen to learn it. I want to know if there's areas that we can improve on more than ever. In the past, it's just as long as there's money in the bank at the end of the day, which I know is the main prerogative, is to have money in the bank at the end of the day. But it would be nice to know what is really working well for us, what isn't working quite so well for us, and what, if it isn't working quite well for us, if there's something we can do to make it work better for us.
Yeah, very good points. Yeah, so you can maximize profit as you go along.
Yes.
This one, reducing carbon footprint, it's coming up more and more. You chose it, I think it's one of the first that you gave me, actually. Yeah, you've obviously been giving it a bit of thought recently, is that right?
Well, in the world we live in, with everything going, with the reduction in CO2, it just seems right that us farmers did our bit also. I mean, I know us farmers seem to be jumping through a lot of hoops anyway these days, but if we can make our farms more efficient to help in the ozone layer, then that'll come across so much more appealing to the general public, who at the end of the day are buying all of our produce and our goods. So that's why I put that one in. And again, that's a big one. That's what my children would like me to say, and they are the future.
Yeah, no, well said. Yeah, and good thinking. And then the last one, I know it's something you're thinking of. You haven't made a definitive decision on it. 3 times a day with milking. You're pretty high yielding herd as it is, Jim. Be extra pressure going to 3 times a day, but nevertheless, is it something you want to explore?
it's something I'd like to explore, Brian. Definitely, it's just knowing how to work, how to schedule the staff around it, and just speaking to some more people that are doing it, see what their opinion is on it, whether they would carry on or whether if they hadn't started it, whether they keep doing it. That was just a topic that it would be good to talk to a wide range of people that are perhaps doing it.
Yeah, and we'll create the forum to do that. Well, there's four great things to aim for and focuses over the next 3 years. I just wanted to say to all the farmers out there that Jim's happy to impart his knowledge, what he knows, but he's also happy to absorb and learn from other folk. And I think over the next 3 years, we're going to be looking at all sorts of things on Jim's farm, working with him and learning together. And these four will be on the radar very much. So I hope all of you will join us on the journey as we go through with these focus areas that Jim's going to concentrate on. Any questions before we wrap up, Kate?
We've had a lot of questions coming in, Brian, and lots of people wanting to know more about 3 times a day milking and more about the robots and why you moved to a rotary. Just to say to everyone that if you've asked a question and we haven't had a chance to answer it, we will ask Jim to answer them individually and get back to you. So please don't worry if we haven't got to you this evening. One final question I was going to ask you, Jim, is how big is your slurry pit and how often do you empty it? And what do you do with your dung?
What, the FYM, farmyard manure?
Yeah.
The slurry pit is big enough to hold up to sort of 6 to 8 months storage. So generally speaking, we utilise that and put it on all our cutting ground, so that we very rarely, the only bagged fertiliser that we actually buy is for our grazing ground. So there's a great cost saving there by having it big enough to hold it. And the farmyard manure on all the maize fields that we've bought, or not bought, that we rent out and about. Generally speaking, through the winter, we make heaps in each of the fields, and when it gets around to the time of year, sort of beginning of March, middle of March, providing the weather's right, then we go and spread them, and start cultivating.
Brilliant, thank you. And how big was your slurry pit?
Very big. I think we worked that it'll hold about 3.5 million gallon.
Brilliant, that's great. Thanks, Jim.
Thank you.
Yeah, no, good. So there are questions unanswered, but we're coming to the end now. So we will follow up those questions in the emails for the folk who've asked them. Please continue to follow this farm and be part of the discussions as we go along, and help with the sharing of information. Farmer to farming learning, as we know, is the best way. We'll follow this up with this recorded webinar with links to the Strategic Dairy Farm web pages. Look out on social media for updates and what's happening. We have a couple of meetings coming up shortly. Tomorrow, actually, we've got Create the Perfect Environment to Grow Grass. That's a Strategic Dairy Farm at Tim Downs. And we've got 2 launches, 8th and 9th of December. They're both all year-round herds, one in Staffordshire, Andrew Gilman, and Andrew Thomas in Welshpool. So there's a lot on, but please go onto the website and check and participate and join in. It just leaves me to say a very, very huge thank you to you, Jim, and your family and your team, my colleagues, but especially to everybody also who's tuned into the webinar tonight. I hope you go away with a good overview of this farm and enjoyed listening to Jim telling us all about it. Thank you for your time, your participation and attention. Goodbye and all the best.
Thank you, Brian. Goodbye.
Thanks.